Welcome back to Under the Sink Light, episode 5. This week is sweet potato and pumpkin waffles. So I'm going to start out moving all of my things around because they're in the way. And then I'm going in with 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And then next I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of white granulated sugar. You can use brown sugar also. I've done that with this recipe before. I don't notice much of a difference, but if you have a preference, either one will work. And then the next thing I'm going to grab is the all-purpose flour. And this is just going to be 1.5 cups. I used a half cup so that I could do 3 half cups and not have to dirty 2 different measuring cups by doing a 1 and then a half. But you can do it however you like. And as always, I am not exactly leveling off my scoops here. I just kind of shake it until it looks good. Next is ground cinnamon. We're going to measure with our heart, but I would guess that it's about 1 to 2 teaspoons depending on your taste. And then ground ginger, maybe only like half a teaspoon, just because I wanted to add a little bit of something that would complement it but not overtake the flavor. Okay, and then the next thing is a pinch of salt. I always use kosher salt, but you can use iodized salt if that's what you have. And then I'm going to give the dry ingredients a quick mix. That way I don't end up with a pocket of leavening or a pocket of sugar or salt. Just to get everything mixed somewhat evenly before the liquid ingredients go in, to avoid any kind of unfavorable, untasty clumps. And for liquids, I always like to use a measuring cup that's bigger than the total of what I need. That way I can fit all the liquid into one measuring cup. So for the sweet potato and pumpkin puree, altogether it ended up being 1 cup. It was probably 3/4 sweet potato and only a 1/4 cup of pumpkin just because it was left over. But you can adjust this however you like, or if you just want to do pumpkin or just sweet potato. All I did was peel the sweet potato and boil it until it was mashable with a fork, which is why I have a fork here and not a spatula. And then I just combined them and then rolled with that. So really it was just to use up that extra pumpkin I had. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of water. That won't end up being all the water, because you'll see later that it'll be too thick and I'll add some more. But for now, it was 2 tablespoons. And then 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil or canola oil, or if you prefer coconut oil, that'll probably work too. And then I added 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And if you don't have a measuring spoon that says 2 teaspoons, don't worry about it. Just use the 1 teaspoon twice. And then we're going to use 2 large eggs in this recipe. These one looked a little bit small, but I promise they were bought as large. And then we're going to, I cleaned up a little bit, and then we're going to get our iron plugged in because it's only going to take a couple minutes to warm up. And then we're going to add the wet ingredients to the dry, and then start mixing them up. Okay, so here is where I start to realize that this is way too thick to turn into waffles. I had everything mixed up already, but I went ahead and added a 1/3 cup more water. So to save you the time, it ends up being a total of a 1/2 cup of water. That way you don't have to end up doing this. But this is it all mixed together, much better consistency. And then once our waffle iron is ready, I'm just going to give it a quick spray on each square of canola oil spray. That way it doesn't stick to the top or the bottom of the iron. And then I'm using a 1/3 cup measuring cup to portion each waffle. Alright, and then we just close that up, and then it ends up cooking for about 3 minutes and 15 seconds. And that's when the iron is first heating up, so your subsequent waffles after that would take probably between 3 to 3.5 minutes to cook. And I go ahead and I respray and get the next portion of batter on right away. I don't close it to let it preheat again, so that'll also adjust your time a little bit, but just to give an idea, it'll take about 3 to 3.5 minutes to cook each pair of waffles. And so grand total, this is going to make 8 waffles. That last one's a little small because it was leftover batter, and that'll be it. I hope you enjoy this recipe, and I hope that your family enjoys this recipe. Here it is posted for you, and thank you for watching.